Okay, all right. I think I have my camera situated right. I think it's situated. I'm not for sure. Anyways, if you can see me, you can see me. Okay, so I'm doing a little video right now. It's about libations and offerings. And this is a it's not gonna be a part one. It's just gonna be what I do specifically with my libations and offerings. Okay, so at my altar, anytime I'm working with a deity, I like to offer red wine and white wine. Um, whether I'm working with the saints or I'm working with Romanian deity, it just doesn't make a difference. I typically will offer my wine, and depending on what time of year it is, I will offer cakes as well and desserts. So, especially when I'm working with Hecate or the dead, I'll offer cakes. If I'm working with dead ancestors, then or any ancestors, then I offer full plates of food. And those are the indoor offerings that I do. If I'm working with a certain spirit, like a saint, especially if you're working with African witchcraft or Palo Meambe, or you're working with Umbanda, or you're working with island magic, or you're working with okay, let's set an example like Maria Padilla in Exu. I specifically will offer cigars, and I will offer red wine, and I'll offer red roses. For Exu I offer white roses or yellow roses, and that's kind of what I do. I especially offer yellow roses to Maria Padilla, and other than that, I will hold on just a second. Okay. So that's kind of what I do. And other than that, oh yes, I have a libation rock that I use. I don't worship a Celtic deity right now, but I do worship a horn god or divine father. So I do offer libation specifically to the earth on a rock, a small painted rock, and I'll pour out red wine or white wine upon that, and it's embedded with symbols, and I use that, and it sits either in the field or it sits in front of my house, and I pour that out to protect my home. And that's kind of what I do with my libations. And there's other offerings that I do. I like to offer cakes. I like to offer rolls, sweet rolls, especially to Hecate. And if I'm working with Umbanda spirit or Candomblé or whatever it is that I'm studying, I will address the spirits accordingly, and I will offer accordingly, whatever they call upon. I specifically work kitchen. I don't specifically work kitchen magic or kitchen witchcraft, but it's something that I'm very well interested in and I have practiced in the past. So I'll cook, and I do a dumb supper and whatever needs to be done, especially to honor my dead and to honor ancestors. And I do a lot of white wine and red wine. And sometimes you just even leave it at a crossroads. You can leave white wine or red wine at a crossroads. You can leave cakes at a crossroads. You can use cakes with candles at a crossroads. And that is literally is something that will get you, you know, noticed by your spirits or by protective spirits, especially at a crossroads. Especially if you're in a city and you come upon a crossroads. Offering cakes and wine is literally something super small that you can do, but it's something that is said to bring much abundance and recognition from the dead and the mighty dead and the protective dead that watch over those who walk the streets or may be homeless. So if you're a gypsy witch, or you're a whether you're an Italian witch or whatever the case may be, traditional witches especially, I'm specifically talking for traditional witches, work with your gypsy spirits and Maria Padilla, and I say that you offer red wine and you offer cigars and rum. When I'm calling upon any Orisha or Loa, then I would say you use vodka and you use cigars. The better the flavor, the more recognition you're going to get from these spirits. And use as follows. Legua is going to call upon. You're going to need to, of course, give him some rum or some vodka, and some cigars, and the Baron Samedi as well. So just respect. You can also, if you're initiated, I recommend that you only work with those spirits particularly the Baron Samedi and the Legua if you're initiated. I mean, there's nothing wrong with honoring or anything like that, but you have to be careful what you do and what you allow entrance into your space, because you're a witch or you're a spiritualist or whatever the case is, or a la bruja or the brujo or whatever the case is. So you have to be careful of what energies you allow into your space. So if you have to go to war, it's not even a war to me. If you have to battle for your space, then you can, because you're fighting with the unseen. But you respect voodoo spirits, and you respect voodoo spirits, and you respect the palos, and you just always respect as much as you possibly can, and give your offerings as according. And I typically will give as according, but don't call on the Baron Samedi or Elegua if you're in those sects of witchcraft, unless you're fully initiated. Be initiated, because there are spirits of the dead and the dead walking, and there are spirits of the mighty dead. And even Hecate is a spirit of the mighty dead. She watches over thresholds, and she watches over the crossroads. There are people who need to be protected in the streets. So it can be very protective, but give your offerings and always be the most respectful. So with that, God and Goddess bliss and love and light, many lives over, and please just respect your spirits. And this is just a set example of offerings that I do, and this is something that I do quite a bit. If I'm not practicing witchcraft or grounding or centering or anything like that, then I will then I will literally just do offerings, and I will respect my spirits, and I'll give offerings to my dead. So with that, blessed be and love and light.